everyone. In previous video I explained about the induction process, how the bodies will gain charges by the induction, and I explained properties of charges in that video. So after watching that, I think this is the third part of the electric field and charges. In this video I am going to explain about the most important topic of intermediate in this chapter. First important question, Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law in electrostatics. So here now, what is the Coulomb's law? Coulomb performed one experiment with the torsion balance. So after conducting so many experiments, he was given the expression for force which is acting between two charges. Here, according to Coulomb's inverse square law, the force of attraction between two charges, the force of attraction or repulsion between two charges is directly proportional to product of their charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and that force should be acts a line joining along the two charges. That should be called Coulomb's inverse square law. Let us see here. Now here, this is the Q1 first point charge Q1, and this is the another point charge Q2. Both are taken as here now two charges, point charges, and the distance of separation is R. Clear? Then now, according to Coulomb's inverse square law, the force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to product of their charges. Here what is meant by F? Force. If you can consider Q1 and Q2 are both are same charges. Both are same kind of charges. That means if you can take plus or minus, then the F is reference to that is what? Force of repulsion. If you can take one is positive, one is negative, then that can represent the force of attraction. So that's why here, simply here in this case, the nature of the force should be depend upon the types of charges. Here, the force acting between these two charges is directly proportional to the product of magnitude of their charges, and that is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Here, what is the distance here? R. That should be F is proportional to 1 by R square. This is the equation number 2. From these two, what you can write? F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. This is the Coulomb's inverse square law. Here let us consider, we are taking two charges Q1 Q2 and they are separated by distance of R. Then the amount of force, either it is attractive or repulsive, that should be depend upon the here Q1 Q2 and R, such that the force is directly proportional to the product of magnitude of their charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between those two. From those, what write? F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. This is what we call Coulomb's inverse square law. And now in this case, here these quantities are in proportional. To equate them, we are using one constant. F is equals to K into Q1 Q2 by R square. What is that? F is equals to K into Q1 Q2 by R square. Here K is called electrostatic force constant. K is what? Constant. Here K is the constant. Its value depend upon the medium what we are taken. That means in which medium we are keeping the charges. So the medium can defines or affects the value of K. That means simply the value of K is depend upon the nature of the medium which can be adjusted between the two charges. That's the first thing. And here the K value should be from that what we can write? K is equals to what, right? F into R square by Q1 Q2. K is equals to F into R square by Q1 Q2. That means what here? K is the one constant, electrostatic constant, force constant. That means proportionality constant K is equals to F into R square by Q1 Q2. So just now I told you what's that? K value depend upon the nature of the medium. In this case, from this equation what you have to say, K value also depends on the force which can be acting between the two charges and magnitude of charges and distance between them. Clear? So experimentally the value of K should be found to be, K value is determined as K is equals to here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. What is that? K is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, or simply I am writing first like this. So here I am writing here now F is equals to K into Q1 Q2 by R square. Already equation is there. So here F is equals to, K value should be taken as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R square. Clear? Now this is equation number 3. F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. Here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is nothing but K value. That should be here, value should be measured as 9 into 10 power of 9. 9 into 10 power of 9. K is equals to Fr square by Q1 Q2. Then how we can write the units for K? For unit of force is what? Newton. And R is distance, meter square. For charge, coulomb. Coulomb into coulomb. That means what? Newton meter square for coulomb square. This is the value for K. 9 into 10 power of 9 Newton meter square for coulomb square. So here epsilon naught value should be here. Epsilon it is nothing but now here, where epsilon naught is called permittivity. What is that? Permittivity in free space. Permittivity in free space. The should be value is here 8.85 into 10 power of minus 12. So from that, here what to write? F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. From that we can write epsilon naught means what to write? Simply what to write? 1 by 4 pi F. 1 by 4 pi F into Q1 Q2 by R square. Epsilon naught is equals to 1 by 4 pi into Q1 Q2 by R square. From that units what to write? 1 by 4 pi F into Q1 Q2 by R square. Q1 is the charge. Unit is what? Coulomb. Q2 also charge. Coulomb into coulomb, coulomb square. And F means what? Force, Newton. So what to write? Coulomb square for Newton meter square. So this is the value for permittivity in free space, 8.85 into 10 power of minus 12 coulomb square for Newton meter square. Clear children? So in this case, what we write dimension formula for permittivity? Epsilon is equals to what? 1 by 4 pi into Q1 Q2 by R square. Here generally what you have? I is equals to Q by T. Current I is equals to charge by time. Then what to write? Q means what to write? I into T. I into T. I means what? Current. T means what? Time. Then here I am writing dimension formula for that. Epsilon naught is equals to 1 by 4 pi F. Simply it is constant. Q1 Q2 means what? IT. For I means what? Current, ampere. So here we are writing A into T. A into T. Again A into T. I is equals to Q by T. From that Q is equals to IT we are writing. Now dimension formula of Q is what? For current we can write ampere A and T capital T. Like that. Here in that formula, instead of Q1 what to write? AT. Instead of Q2 what to write? AT. By F. F means what? Force. MLT inverse 2. What's that? MLT inverse 2. So that's why I'm writing MLT inverse 2 into I'm writing here epsilon naught is equals to AT into AT by force what it is? MLT inverse 2. L T inverse 2 into R square means what? L square. So L square. So from that we can write epsilon naught is equal to what, right? A square T square by M into L square means what? L cube and T inverse 2. That means, so what, right? Epsilon naught is equals to M inverse L inverse 3 and A inverse 2, and what do you get? T to the power of 4. So this is the dimensional formula for F is equals to MA, M L T inverse 2, L square, T into T, T square, and this is T to the power of minus 2. When T to the power of minus 2 come into the numerator, T to the power of plus 2. Then T square into T square, T to the power of 4. So this is the dimensional formula for epsilon naught. So clear, children? Look here once. Very good example here. Coulomb's inverse square law. What is meant by Coulomb's inverse square law? The force of attraction or repulsion between two charges is directly proportional to product of their charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and that should be acts along the line joining the two charges. That is what we call Coulomb's inverse square law. Explanation. What's that? We are taken now here two charges. Then I will explain you. Coulomb's law is what? The force of attraction between two charges is directly proportional to the product of their charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two charges, and that force should be acts along the line joining the two charges. So see here once. Here this is the Q1 is one charge and Q2 is the another charge, and here in this case when the distance between the two charges is more than the radius of the charge. Clear? The distance between two charges is more than the radius of the charges, then the charges should be taken as the point charges. That's why I am calling it is point charge. Got my point? The distance between the two charges is more than the radius of the charges, then the charges should be treated as point charges. Clear, children? So here, look here, Q1, Q2 are the two charges, and the force it is acting between these two should be acts a line joining these two, a line joining these. That's why the Coulombic force is central force. Here this is what distance between these two are. Clear? Then what do you write? According to Coulomb's law, F is proportional to Q1, Q2. Equation number 1, directly proportional, and F is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Equation number 2. From these two, what do you write? F is proportional to Q1, Q2 by R square. Clear? After that, I am writing F is equals to K into Q1, Q2 by R square. Here what is K? K is what? Proportionality constant. For that, what you write? K is equals to F into R square by Q1, Q2 we can write. So here we are writing K value is what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1, Q2 by R square. This is equation number 3. Here what is the epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is the permittivity in free space. Permittivity in free space. What is meant by permittivity? Permittivity is the one property that can explains. Permittivity is the one property explains the ability of force between two charges. Clear? Permittivity can explains the ability of force between two charges. That means how much force is acting between two charges. Like that. That is the, if you can imagine that these two charges in free space, then we can write epsilon naught. Clear? F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1, Q2 by R square. This is equation number 3. Clear? And now here K value is what? 9 into 10 power of 9 Newton meter square for Coulomb square. I already told you here. What is that? The K value depend upon the nature of the medium. Nature of the medium and the amount of force acting between the two charges and distance between the two charges. These three things must be affects the K value. And the K value is found to be like this: 9 into 10 power of 9 Newton meter square for Coulomb square. Then here the epsilon naught value should be taken as 8.8 into 5 into 8.85 into 10 power of minus 12 Coulomb square for Newton meter square. Then So the commutative level bit it is, what is the dimension formula of permittivity? Dimension formula of permittivity. For that, dimension formula of permittivity, for that what we are writing from equation number 3, we are writing the equation for epsilon naught is what? Epsilon naught is equals to 1 by 4 pi f into q1 q2 by r square. So by using this equation we are writing the dimensional formula. In that equation, what is f? Force. Force dimension formula is what? M L T inverse 2, and q1 q2. For q is charge. For charge, what is dimension formula? AT. q1 is AT and q2 is AT, and by 1 by 4f. 4f is constant, that's why there is no dimension formula. Then we have dimension formula for force is what? M L T inverse 2. What is that? M L T inverse 2, and r square. R means what? L. So here L square. So after that, here M L T inverse 2 into L square, that means what? Here we are writing a into a square, t into t square, then M L T inverse 2 into L square. Then what you get? M inverse 1, you are going to top, what we get here? M power 1 it is there. If you are going to top, M to power of minus 1, L to power of minus 3, and here what you get? A square, sorry, a square, and t to power of minus 2 is there, and it is go to top, it is also t square plus t square, t to power of 4. So now this is the dimension formula for permittivity. M inverse 1, L to power of minus 3, a square, and t to power of 4. So this is simply about the permittivity. Permittivity is the property that can explain the ability of force between two charges is called permittivity. Permittivity in free space should be taken as epsilon naught. If we can take any medium, we can say that there is epsilon. Clear? Epsilon is the permittivity in medium, epsilon naught is the permittivity in free space. For your kind information, both are having same dimension formula, same units, even though one is in free space, even though one is in medium, both are having same units and dimensional formula. Clear, children? So after that, I am going to the next point here. I am going to the next point here. Q1, Q2 it is there. So here now, equation number 3 represents what? This is the force in free space. Force in free space. For example, I am taking this is F1 now. Clear? If the two charges are in medium, then we can write F2 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. That means instead of epsilon naught, I am writing here epsilon. What is that? Epsilon. Epsilon naught is what? Permittivity in free space, and epsilon is what? Permittivity in medium. Now simply I am taking this equation number 4. Clear? So after that, we are dividing these two. F1 by F2 we are dividing. Then what write? F1 means what? F1 by F2 is equals to what, right? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square by, I am erasing this for convenience, and again I am writing 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught epsilon here Q1 Q2 by R square. Clear? Then here what to write? Simply these two are cancelled, 1 by 4 pi cancel, then what to get? F1 by F2 is equals to what to write? 1 by epsilon naught by 1 by epsilon, that is nothing but F1 by F2 is equals to epsilon by epsilon naught. So this is the relation between the forces and permittivities. F1 by F2 is equals to epsilon by epsilon naught. So here epsilon by epsilon naught should be has equals to, simply I am writing epsilon r. What is that? Epsilon r. Here epsilon r is the relative permeability. What is that? Relative permeability. Got, children? So very simple. Look here once again. So equation number 3 represents what? This is what? Force between two charges when they are in the free space. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. Equation number 3. And now when the same two charges must be kept in a medium, the equation becomes as F2 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by 4 pi epsilon q1 q2 by r square. Equation number 4. So here epsilon is what? Permittivity in medium. So I already told you what's that? Epsilon naught, epsilon, both are have same media, same units and dimensions. Don't worry that. And now we are dividing these two. What we get? F1 by F2 we are dividing. From that what we are getting? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square by 1 by 4 pi epsilon q1 q2 by r square. From that what we get? F1 by F2 is equals to 1 by epsilon by 1 by epsilon. Then what we get? F1 by F2 is equals to epsilon by epsilon naught. Here epsilon by epsilon naught. Here F1 by F2 is equals to epsilon by epsilon naught, means what here what it is? Epsilon is the permittivity in medium and epsilon is the permittivity in free space. The ratio of these two is called relative permeability. What's that? Relative permeability. This is the relation between the forces acting between the two charges and permittivities of the medium. Clear? F1 by F2 is equals to epsilon by epsilon naught. And after that, here now simply by observing again F1 and F2, F1 and F2, if you can take F1 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 q2 by r square, and F2 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon q1 q2 by r square. From these two, what we write? F1 is proportional to 1 by r square. If you can take all these are constants. For example, here in examination point of view, they will ask you define Coulomb. They will ask you like this: define Coulomb. Definition of Coulomb. Definition of Coulomb. So here we have equation. What is there? F1 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. In that already this value is what? 9 into 10 power of 9. What is that? K value is what? 9 into 10 power of 9 newtons. Clear? And if you can take r is equals to what? 1 meter. What is that? R is equals to 1 meter. Clear? And if here F is what? Force. F is what? Force. So for example here, to define the Coulomb, we are saying now 2 unit charges. That means Q1 is equals to Q2 is equals to 1 Coulomb, and R is equals to 1 meter. Children, most important, look here. F1 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by R square. In that what we are taking? Q1 is equals to Q2 is equals to 1 Coulomb and R is equals to 1 meter. That means we are taking 2 unit charges. 2 unit charges are separated by unit distance. Then the amount of force acting between 2 charges is how much? Here we can write F1 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 is what? 1 and this is also 1. Then what you get? F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Already this value is what? 9 into 10 power of 9 newtons. Clear? Children, most important, definition of Coulomb. For that we are taking the equation charges, where are the charges in free space. F1 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. From that we are defining that what's that? When 2 unit charges are separated by a distance of 1 meter or unit distance in free space, then the force of attraction or repulsion between those 2 charges equals to the 9 into 10 power of 9 newtons. 9 into 10 power of 9 newtons. Then the magnitude of charge is said to be 1 coulomb. Clear? Two unit charges are separated by unit distance. Then the amount of force acting between the two charges is 9 into 10 power of 9 newtons. Then the magnitude of charge is said to be 1 coulomb. This is the definition of 1 coulomb. Very important. For that explanation is what it is. We are taken F1 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. Then we are taking Q1 is equals to Q2 is equals to 1 coulomb and R is equals to 1 meter. Then what we get? F1 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 is 1 and Q2 also 1, R is 1. 1 square means 1. Then what we get? F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Already we know that the value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is 9 into 10 power of 9. So we are writing 9 into 10 power of 9. That means F is equals to 9 into 10 power of 9 newtons. So this is the explanation for definition of 1 coulomb. Definition of 1 coulomb. And now in examination point of view, so here already we know that F is proportional to 1 by R square. 1 by R square. So here the problem will be like this. Q1, Q2 are two charges and they are, once their first distance is R1. For example here problem will be like this. Q1, Q2 are separated by some R1 distance. Then force is F1. Now the same charges are separated by some other distance R2. Two charges Q1, Q2 are there. Initially they are separated by some distance R. Then the amount of force acting between those two is what it is? F1. Clear? After that, again the distance value changes for the same charges. Then what is the amount of force acting between them? The question will be like this. In intermediate examinations also, for 4 marks problem and for 2 marks problem, 2 marks one, very important, and in competitive exam also very important. So that means we are not talking about the magnitude of charges. Simply we are talking about the when two charges are separated by some distance, then the force is 20 newtons. If the distance is double, what amount of force acting between those two? Then in that cases we will write formula is F is proportional to 1 by R square. Then we can write F1 by F2 is equals to R2 square by R1 square. F1 by F2 is equals to R2 square by R1 square. So this is the another formula. That means F1 by F2 is equals to epsilon by epsilon naught and F1 by F2 is equals to R2 square by R1 square. And if you can take for example, this is another point of view. F1 is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. For example, here it is K. Then what to write? F is proportional to K. F1 by F2 is equals to K1 by K2. K1 by K2. Then here, so if it is equals to, then what write? Then also we can find out the forces. So the problems may be in different types. So here now, this is about the Coulomb's inverse square law. Coulomb's inverse square law, children. And for this Coulomb's inverse square also, some here importance is there and limitations also there. So what is the necessity? What is the necessity of Coulomb's inverse square law? Coulomb's inverse square law must be studies about the static charges. That means the charges which are at rest, they are called static charges. Coulomb's law, the first importance is that should be explains the amount of force acting between the charges which are at rest. Clear? And Coulomb's law gives the explanation for that how the solids are in particular shape. That means here there is some forces between the atoms. Due to that only they are at their respective positions. For that also this type of Coulomb force also must be one of the main part or main role. Clear? Coulomb's law explains about the force is the first thing. Next thing is what? It gave explanation for the how in solids the atoms are in particular shape and the electrons and atom protons will be there according to their charges also. He was given one explanation for that, why they are in particular shape. Clear? And after that, some Coulomb's law is having some limitations there. Limitations of Coulomb's law. So when the Coulomb's law is not valid, for that here the first thing is limitations of Coulomb's law. Limitations of Coulomb's law. First thing is the charges what we are taken, they should be spherical. Spherical charges or spherical metal charges are like point charges. They seem to be like point charges. Here the charges must be in form of the sphere and they should be treated as the point charges. Again, for that the charge distribution is so important. Charge distribution, distribution of charge, distribution of the charge in a sphere, that should be uniform. That means the charge should be equally distributed in the metal sphere, then only this Coulomb law is applicable, otherwise it is not applicable. Clear? When the charges must be in the same shape of the metal spheres or point charges and the charge distribution should be uniformly charge distributed, then only it should be applicable, otherwise it is not applicable. And next thing is for the distances from 10 to the power of minus 15 meters to the up to some level kilometers, up to some level kilometers, the minimum value starting to what is that the force acting between two charges must be measured when the distance of separation is between the 10 to the power of minus 15 meters to the some kilometers. Clear? That means that below the 10 to the power of minus 15 we are unable to find out the electrostatic forces, and there is no particular evidence for long distance also. Here F value is not possible to measure. Here there is no experimental proof for that. For long distance also we can find out the electrostatic force. So under than the less than the 10 to the power of minus 15 also there is no experimental proof. It is not possible to find out the F value when the distance is less than minus 10 to the power of minus 15. For that also there is no evidence, and there is no evidence for that when the force is between two charges, when they have some separation is very long distance also, there is no experimental evidence for that when the force between the two charges when they are separated by long distances like kilometers. So these are the limitations of importance and limitations of Coulomb's law. And next thing is here there is some comparison between the here we know that comparison between Coulomb's law and universal law of gravitation. I think in your first year you learned, I think so. So what is Coulomb's law? F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R square. And what is universal law of gravitation? F is equals to G into M1 M2 by R square. Clear? This is the Coulomb's law and this is the universal law of gravitation. The force of gravitation between two bodies is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So here the common first thing is I am going to talk about the common priority. What is the common priority? Here F is proportional to Q1 Q2. Here F is proportional to M1 and M2. That means directly proportional to the product of charges and product of masses. Here in terms of masses and here in terms of charges. That is the one common priority, common point. And next thing is both can obey the inverse square law. Both can obey the inverse square law. F is proportional to 1 by R square and F is proportional to 1 by R square. This is the another common property. The both forces are inversely proportional to the square of the distances. Square of the distances. And now this is also common point. They are central forces. Central force. And this is also central force. That means what? I told you, what's that? It is the Q1 and it is the Q2. The force acting between these two should be acts a line joining these two charges. A line joining the two charges. That's why it is the central force. And this is also same thing here. This is the M1 and this is M2. And if you can line joining these two, then also it is the central force. So this is these three are the common points. Clear? First thing is, here F is proportional to Q1, Q2. That is quite similar to here. F is proportional to M1 and M2. There we are saying charges. Here we are saying masses. And next thing, here both can obey the inverse square law. Force is inversely proportional to the square of distance. Here also square of the distance. And here this is also acts along a line joining the two charges. Here same thing. It is acts along the line joining the two bodies. Masses. These are the common priorities. And next thing here next thing is here simply here we are saying some central force and central force. Now I am going to explain the differences. What is the difference? Here the force between two charges is either it is attractive or repulsive. Attractive or repulsive. Attractive or repulsive. What I am saying here, if you can take two charges are like charges, now it is repulsive. If you can take unlike charges, attractive force. But in case of universal law of gravitation, what do you have to say? There is only attractive force. Gravitational force is nothing but it is always attractive force. It can explain about the only attractive forces, as this can be explained about the both either it is repulsive or attractive. That is the first difference. And now here in this case I told you what is epsilon naught. What is epsilon naught? Permittivity in free space. Permittivity in free space. If the medium changes, epsilon value should be changes. Clear? That means what? Here the F must be depend upon the nature of the medium. Nature of the medium. That means the electrostatic force is depend upon the nature of the medium. But in this case, universal law of gravitation, it is independent of medium, because capital G, it is the constant. It is same everywhere. So these are the differences between the Coulomb's law and universal law of gravitation. Children, I hope you understand. So I think in this video you may learn what is Coulomb universal law and its explanation, what is permittivity and its units and dimension formula, and what is K and its value and its units. And next thing is definition of Coulomb and relation between force and permittivities, and relation between the force and the distance, and how we can compare the universal law of gravitation with the universal law of Coulomb's law. And next thing is what differences between these two. Again, universal what is the difference between the universal law of gravitation and Coulomb's universal law. I think so. I hope you understand. If you can understand the topic, just like the video, share the video and comment the video. In the next video I am going to explain the same topic on the basis of vector notations. So again, bye children, we will meet in the next video with the next topic. Bye, take care.